Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this 1971 Triumph TR6 that I dragged out of a property that sat for 20 some odd years. I think we're actually 2 videos in on it. We got it kind of up and running and get tires on it and that kind of thing. Still trying to chase some gremlins, and one of the gremlins I think I caused, which was a clutch issue. Let's go get it up in the air. We're going to go look at something real quick, and hopefully it fixes that problem and we can move on. I got license plates for it, so we can at some point take it for a drive. So some of you acute viewers have zeroed in on something that I screwed up on the last video. We do clutch pieces we put in the master cylinder up top. This is called the slave cylinder. And I was not having enough travel in the clutch. You can see where you can kind of move. You have some play in there. Not moving this lever enough to get the clutch to disengage. And a lot of you saw that. How that is sitting like that, it's supposed to be bolted up like that. So let me go take that back out again and swap it over to that side of it and see if we get what we're supposed to and we don't have any clutch issues. You know, some days you just don't have it. Some days you do. I would have swore that's the way it came out, but more than likely, I just plain screwed up. Let's go fix it. Well, now that we've got things on the right side of the fence, let's see if we can re-bleed it. I took the all the fluid out of it and refilled it. And we're just going to let the air, should gravity feed out. There we go. We get a better notch on it. One more. All right, let's go check that. See if we took care of our problems. Actually, while we have it up in the air, we probably should check the transmission fluid because the drain plug looks very wet. And it was a little growly when we were, last time we spun it. And you can see what we got going on there. Let's go see what we have. Let's go pull that plug right there and see if we can kind of reach any fluid. If not, we'll top it off. You can see the speedometer cable is wet too. Yeah, at some point we'll change it, but I want to run it a little bit first because all the crap just settles out of the bottom of it. What size is that? All the crap will settle to the bottom. So you change the fluid, you're changing clean fluid, you're not getting any of the mud with it. So if you run it a little bit, it all gets, you know, resuspended in the oil. Essentially, this should have been filled till it was starting to pour out. See what I got a Q-tip, see if I can get in there on an angle. I think we're gonna have to break it. Going in. Doctor's orders. Oh yeah. A little dirty, but there's plenty of fluid in there, so I'm not gonna worry about burning it up, is what my concern was. Right, let's go drop it back down on the ground and see what we got for clutch, if we got that functioning. Nice fit is. No, I grabbed the wrong wrench. Yeah, could have told me. 50-50 shot. I hit it wrong 75% of the time. All right. What do we need? Battery. Fuel's on. Power to it. Get rid of that rag and go flying. We're going to watch, make sure we're still in the air. That back tire. Choke. same problem. I'm gonna try bleeding it better. I feel like I got a little on the spongy side when we were doing it. But that's what I was doing before. I think we might get it with air though, this time. Well, hopefully we get a little bit more air out of it. If not, I put the adjustment, there's 3 holes to adjust from. I put it back in the middle, which is what we started with. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for air. All right, I'm gonna go back to the adjustment on the side. And I guess that was a bit of a question also, I'll show you. So, I put the pin 3 different locations. This is gonna have the same amount of travel no matter what you do. Inside of here is another fork that goes across, and then a fork goes up, and that's what pushes on the clutch, so it looks like that. The closer you go to the pivot point, the more stroke you're giving it. The further away you go from the pivot point, the more power you're giving it, and easier it'll be on the pedal. But I'm gonna notch it back up one more, see if that is enough to get it for us. Thought we had it. We may. So I was hitting the emergency brake with the clutch down, and you can hear that it was stalling out. So I tried to aim, and as soon as I could tell right away, I went to go put it in gear, and I couldn't put it in gear. Back up. Worked for a second, then I lost. It worked for a second, and it kind of went soft. Let's go try it one more time. Or have something to do with it running. I kind of wonder maybe the slave cylinder or the master cylinder is no good and it's not pushing enough on the travel. I'm gonna go look into the original components that are on it, but yes, it's still doing the exact same thing it was before. So I may even try bleeding it a little differently. I'm gonna try, maybe I'll pump up the pedal. I'll put a piece of wood down there, and or I got one of the the little hydraulic bleeders that you can kind of put on and push fluid backwards through it. Maybe we can do that in case there's any air trapped. You would think you would see a leak though. If you had, I'm gonna go look up under the pedal, make sure it's not dripping out of the back of the master cylinder and onto the floor. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like, no, that looks pretty good. I don't see any fluid dripping backwards out of it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go pump the pedal up, and I'm gonna put a piece of wood between here and the seat, go down there and crack the bleeder. I'm gonna work on that a little bit. I'll bring you back if I figure out what it is. At some point, we're gonna figure out what it is. Hopefully, it's not in the trans where the clutch is, bound up to the pressure plate or something like that. Yeah, let's try pushing it all the other way. See if we can get, try to collapse this cylinder. I'm gonna take the pin right out of it. And that way there's not as much of a chamber in here. The bleeder's on top. I'm just gonna wonder if the air has gotten stuck a little bit. So let's go take this. Let's just go push it all the way in. There we go. Now we collapsed it completely. It should draw fluid back. Again, no promises that we got it. Because it does go, kind of wonder if it's going uphill a little bit. Where's the key? Where's the pin? I sat it up on the lift. I can't find it. Anyway, let's go try it again. All right, emergency brake's on, so the back tire should not be turning. And like, as soon as I could tell, like, I'll go fire it up. I can't put it in gear. It won't go because it's got too much drag on it. Let's go give her. Yeah, see? Let's try pumping it up really good. Yeah, there it goes. See how far? Yeah. Like, almost exactly the same as it was before, like a ½ inch. And then after it's sitting, now I can't put it in gear. My foot is never let off the clutch. And then it's got a bunch of free play in it now. And you can put it in gear. But it's like right there. All right, I'm gonna go take some drastic measures to try and bleed it. I may try pressurizing it from the bottom and try pushing anything out up through the master cylinder. I may try going the other way with a vacuum pump, drawing down on it. I'm not quite sure what is going on, or we just have a failed component that's not doing what's supposed to be doing, is the other guess, whether it's the master cylinder or the slave cylinder. Not quite sure which one it would be. All right, I'm gonna go dump a quart of brake fluid on the floor, essentially, and see if we can figure it out. If not, we're gonna look into the old components. You know what it is? I made the mistake of coming in this morning saying, we're gonna have that clutch fixed in about 5 minutes. Awesome. Simple fix, no problem. Yeah. All right, so this is all full of brake fluid. We're gonna crack it loose. And we're gonna try pushing all that back up. I emptied the upper chamber first. Okay. And that should push any air up and out to the top of the master cylinder. Should. And this doesn't know, we're gonna probably start changing components. It's almost like the first time you push on it, we'll have a pedal. Let's see what we get. So right there, so that pedal's awesome right there. Then it starts getting some. Let's try it. Just seems like it has an awful lot of free play right there. Leave it in neutral. See if it stays up. Let off it. Yeah, it's screwed again. You get like one shot at it. You pump it up. No, still not even doing it. That's it, you get like one shot at it. All right, I think we just have something failing. Yeah, although I do believe, you know, both of these were new. You see the corrosion that was in there. That's the whole idea why we kind of changed it out. I want to go push that cylinder in and it's frozen. Let's go see if a couple of lub taps will. Wouldn't mind taking that right apart, you know. Let's go see if I can shoot out its juice. I'm going to clean the, it's got a little bit of rust around the lip right here. You go clean that up and we'll throw this one back in. Worked on the old ones, able to get it to come out. Again, there shouldn't be really much of anything in here. You know, just essentially a port where the brake fluid comes in. It pushes against this cylinder, which pushes the clutch. And when you're done letting off, the fluid goes back up and returns. Kind of think it's going to be the top one, but I think this is probably in better condition. Clean that out with brake fluid. And then air gun. And a little bit of Scotch-Brite. Cylinder actually feels pretty good though. We just bound. The last little bit was bound. I don't think that part of it gets used though. The only thing I see difference, and it may not even be a difference at all, you can see like the outer diameter of this one, outer diameter of this one are two different sizes, it's a little skinnier. I don't know if the bore is different. I want to, let's go, see if there's any difference in that. Yeah, it looks the same. I think. See how much higher this one returned than this one? I don't know if that makes a difference. Maybe the spring is too weak. I don't want to hit it, it's going to shoot me. Get that one put back together and see if it'll cure its woes. Alright, I just did. Changed it and I just bled it on the bottom. Opened the bleeder up and let it kind of through. There it goes. Let's see if it repeats itself though. Off. Yeah. See where it's grabbing. About 2 inches up. Yeah, that's more like it. See if it stays. That's more like it. Let it sit for a second. I was also kind of wondering too, like if the lever is moving on the clutch to take the, clutch or pressure plate and the throw bearing have like a little bit of something going wrong with it and it's kind of wiggling. It's pushing the slave cylinder back a little bit and then you have to pump it up to get it back to where it was. Let's go see if that's the case. Nope, still going in gear. Good. Feels better too. You have almost from the get-go there's resistance where before it felt like it moved that 1.5 inches before it did anything. Alright, finally let's go run it through the gears. First, second, third, fourth. There is no fifth. Let's go stop the rear wheels from turning. And reverse is which way? That. Get in there. And there's reverse. Yay! That didn't take forever now, did it? Good. Hopefully we're going to screw with something else when we come back to it that maintains its what it's got. You think the old part was... What do you think that new part was made? One guess. Okay, I'm just too curious. I'm going to take the old one apart. The thing I'm thinking of, when I had it bolted on the wrong side, it was on... Yeah, it was like that. And we switched it to like that to give it closer to the clutch lever. I kind of wonder if I was pushing it out and like, did the board get scored or anything? I mean, it really shouldn't, though. I can tell you one thing. That does not feel like it's got much drag on it at all. Kind of wondering if that... I wonder if it was allowing air every time it came back. I don't see anything funky in it. I'm kind of wondering if that is just not that good of a fit. Like right there, it really... I kind of wonder if this seal just wasn't sealing. Pun intended. See if you see any scratches in it. But it was definitely in this. I changed this and it went away. My guess is this just does not press against the walls. I ain't gonna say it. It just doesn't, yeah, it doesn't feel like it has. It's like there's an area there where it's like it's nothing. Like I can grab it right there and it just feels like it should have a little bit more drag than what it does. That's my synopsis. This seal does not push against that lip hard enough for it to, so when it was returning, it was introducing a little bit of air every time. Because it was like the first time you pushed the pedal, it worked, and then it wouldn't work after that. That was it. That right there just doesn't push hard enough. All right. Tired of getting my ass kicked with this. Well, because we're having so much fun playing with brake fluid, let's continue and move on. So the front end was taken apart. Actually, all the wheels were taken apart when I got it. The calipers were taken off. The rotors were gone. I didn't even have any. I got a U set with a U set of wheel bearings underneath the front, and the calipers are still hanging. They're not even attached to anything. So let's get the front wheels off. We'll start looking into what we got going on in the front end, what was taken apart. You know, my guess is it probably had some front end work, because there was a tie rod that wasn't bolted to the spindle and all. Anyway, let's go get the jack swapped over to the front, lift that up, and see what we got going on there. Okay, let's see what we got going on up here. So I just threw this all together. This is where this project, I'm sure, stalled. We got... These are rotors I took off, I bought used. And they were just kind of thrown on there. I see hardware all over the place, kind of loose. I'm eyeballing it real quick. It looks like the lower ball joint. This isn't tight. Again, the calipers are tied off to the side. We got bolts loose up here. That one's loose. That brake line. This tie rod was not connected. I threaded that on. We have the sway bar is not bolted in. My guess is probably maybe they wanted to rebuild this, or we're in the process of rebuilding it. That ball joint actually looks new. I'm gonna grab a light. Yeah, that ball joint looks like it's pretty new. I don't know what's happening down there. Maybe it was binding or something. Or it's got a lot of play in it. One of the two. For now, let's just try to bolt everything up, and we'll see what we got, you know, what the remnants of this is. I wonder if we can put like a big screwdriver in there, just kind of put a little bit of pressure on it. We'll see if we have like a knuckle that's wiggling away. This looks pretty good. Yeah, let's go do that real quick, and then I want to take these calipers. I want to see if they squeeze back, no problem. They actually, again, look like they were replaced and then just never used. The brake pads look like they're new. Let's see, what's that? There's the broken nut. Right there. somebody got overzealous on the water pump. It's hanging right there. I'll get it out. All right, let's go get a pry bar. Yeah, see if anything wiggles around like it shouldn't. You know, what is that, a grease ring or a bolt? That's a bolt. I don't see anything that is obvious. Like I said, missing I think the lower control arm doesn't even have a bolt in it back there. Maybe we're trying to do bushings. I got to go chase hardware. I'm going to go do that. Just don't want to miss anything. That would kind of suck. I think the other side was pretty much together. I think it was mostly this side that was taken apart. So I'm going to go do that. I had the dust shield. I found that. That was laying there on the side. Looks like they put the bolts back in for that. And we could probably get, when we get these rotors on the, I have a brake lathe. We'll clean these bearings up too. And that come out of there. It's got to be able to come out of there, right? And we'll get them on the lathe. We'll get them kind of cleaned up anyway. I'll bring you back when I get a little bit more education on what we got. Whole sway bar's got to get hammered that way. I got to get a jack underneath this, get all the suspension out in its normal travel. You see everything's kind of bent on an angle. Probably easier to bolt stuff. Plus, I'm going to go crank down on some of this hardware, but it doesn't get, like, you don't run it in with the impact gun all the way. You got cotter keys that you put in it. They're supposed to have some kind of torque on it. I'm just going to kind of feel by hand. I'm going to kind of go down just so I got a little bit of tension on them and bolt them together. I'm sure all this has a spec you're supposed to go to, but for now, I'm just going to try moving forward just to see what we got. You know, I have a feeling we're going to revisit a bunch of this stuff. I will go with that right there. We just shove a pry bar under it. Maybe that'll do it. There we go. That's more like it. Now we can put it together and chase the rest of it. Yeah, give me that angle, looks better. And we're getting there. I got a bunch of stuff tightened, but I did notice this. So we have a bolt that somebody took a Sawzall and cut off. And I don't know if that is factory or somebody welded that. That looks pretty nasty, huh? Somebody goobered up a bunch of weld back inside here and left it. I don't think it's gonna fall off. So go take a peek Let's go take a peek around it. Let's go look at the other side, see if the other side has that same, if the tire's still on it. I don't know if we can get in there. No, it looks nice and clean on this side. It actually looks like it's bolted on, but the other side doesn't have a good chip in there. That's what we're looking at there. Yeah, so my thinking is, that ain't from the factory. Definitely looks like they did a decent job welding all the way around it. I don't know if it had ripped apart or something at one time. The bolt is still in it too, so. Let's go see if we can knock this bolt out. It has to come out because they cut it. That's gonna be a tough one to get in there too. We don't even get a good swing, you know? I mean, we may end up taking that whole assembly out of there. Actually, can we? We can't because it's welded in. We have to deal with it right where it is, no matter what. Actually, what we probably could do, if we had to, maybe we can get a hacksaw on the other side, cut the head off the other side, spread these ears out, get the whole arm out of there. We're getting ahead of ourselves though. Let's go give her a hammer and a chisel, give her a couple of love taps, see if it wants to move at all. Actually, let's go put a wrench on the other side, see if it'll turn. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see if we can sneak up in there and... Ooh. Can't be that easy, can it? Let's go get a little punch. Tap on it right there. I wonder if the suspension was hanging down. We can have enough room to get it out of there. That's gonna be another problem. So there's that. Yeah, we could put a bolt in coming from this direction, I think. I don't know if we're going to be able to clear this. What an odd assembly, huh? Well, I could probably cut it right here. We'll get the rest of it out. Are we going to be able to get a bolt in, though? Oh, one way or another, we're going to get one in, right? We can, there's no hole or nothing here, right? You guys see? Yeah. Well, there's a predicament. Because probably what the deal was is you were able to unbolt this and then get the bolt out. Now we can't do that. We're kind of fixed where we are. And we're going to have an angle. We're going to have a problem here clearing this. This may get a little bit of a notch. You may have to. All right, let me go get that cut so you can get the rest of it out of there. It's no good the way it is, so. I wonder if we can get a piece of threaded rod. You know what I mean? A bolt will cut like that, the head off of one side. Maybe we'll put a nut on each end of it. That may help us a little bit. All right, let me get this out of here first and we'll figure it out. Battery's dead. That. See if we can poke that out with a little screwdriver. Should be able to grab it. I wonder if that arm's going to drop down when we go to knock it out of there. Got to get something that's got a little bit of a curve. I don't think we can get it with this. Can we? Can't get behind it to hit it. go get those remnants out of there. We'll see what kind of bolt that we need that fits in there, and then we'll figure it out. So that's what we cut out. See if we can grab a nut that fits the left side. Is that the right one? No. Alright, so that's the bolt that we need. Let me go see if I can find something. It's going to be that plus what? A ½ inch or so? Alright, so we're going to need... What do you got there? I'm probably actually using bad right there. That one. Next shorter one I think is going to be 2. Yeah, that's pretty much what came out of there. So that's it, which is that one. Let's go try shoving that up in the hole. See how far off it is and how much we got to do some cutting. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we have something. I don't have anything that's going to be a strong bolt that has threads all the way through. That's where my problem's going to run into. We're not going to have anything that tough, you know. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So, I think we should mark it. I'm going to have to cut it. I don't see any other way around this mess of getting this cured, you know. No room on the other side, and there's no way to chop a hole in there, right? Yeah. Just wonder if we're... I don't know if we're weakening that assembly much, judging by how much welding on. I wonder if that's just kind of why he stopped. I wonder if he, you know, started getting into this, started looking at the mess that was behind there, got stuck with what we were just doing right there, couldn't get the bolt out, and then just kind of said, you know what? I don't want to work on this anymore. Something had to happen where this project got stalled for so long. And again, the wheels and everything were off. So I'm kind of thinking this maybe have been it. I don't know if we can drill. Yeah, drilling through it's not going to make us anything neither. We're just going to have to notch it. All right, I'm going to go mark that up. I'm going to cut ourselves a little access hole and get that in there. Here's my thoughts. What if we were just to put like a, say, a cut right there? How far up we can get? We would do a cut like right there. We'll go down maybe 3/4 of an inch, and we'll just bend it over out of our way. We'll get the bolt in. We'll leave it like that for now, in case we get back in here and we want to do bushings. We got to take this whole front end apart. I don't want to make it so that we can't take it back apart again. And in the future, if we're good, if we're happy with it, we could just bend it back up and weld it. Yeah. There you go. Wedged. Kitchen open. You gotta align that a little. It took a movement. Oh, she'll go. This doesn't know it yet. We racked a little. Because I do have the jack underneath it. Nothing supporting that leg. I think it has to come out just a hair. Watch it slip right now with my fingers in there. We gotta go. Let's see if we get a pry bar behind that. Come on, you're almost there. Alright, there goes. Yay! Alright, let's go get that bolted up. I don't think it needs any washers on. We go look at the other ones. I don't think there's any washers on it. They ended up putting a jam nut on it. That's what was on the other side. Let me know if I missed anything. So tight, 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 tight. The assembly there in there is tight. The back one is tight on that side. This is done. These are loose, I think, right here. Thought I saw one that was loose. Yeah, right there. There's one right there that's loose. I don't know if anything attaches to that. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go with get and see if that brake caliper will open back up for us. About a 50-50 on that one, huh? And just kind of hold it for us. I'll move over to this side. Let's go crack that bleeder so we're not pushing back on the master cylinder. And it looks like only this is the piston that needs to move. Maybe just big ass pliers. Good. You want to change all that fluid out anyway. You can tell by how brown it is. Moving pretty smooth though. I like that. Let's go check the other side. Good. At least they're not pounded up. Let's go snug that down. And let's go look at that rotor. We might as well start getting the rotors cleaned up and the bearings and all. So I got a brake lathe that I can cut on, but I need the bearings out of it. That's pretty much what they look like on that side. And the other side is the same thing, but there's a seal that's holding it. I'm going to try tapping down on that to get it to pop out without damaging the seal. So I don't have one. There we go. And we're going to go take these and clean them all up anyway. Let's just go run a rag real quick on that race. Let's just see if there's any obvious pitting on it. No, it looks pretty good. So I have a brake lathe that's got cones that can rest right on that. And then on this one. And it spins the rotor. Shall we go over to a tire machine? Tire machine. Brake lathe machine. So this is like a 60s, maybe 70s Atlas brake lathe setup, and that is for cutting drums. This is for cutting rotors. So we are going to be doing rotors, and we need to try to set up an alignment, I say, of sorts for that to happen. The way this works is you have a post that goes across the back that the rotor is sitting on. You have two cutting tips, one here and one here, that are adjustable in and out, and then you have a lock that you can lock into gear, and it'll pull across the rotor, and then it shuts itself off. You keep setting that up till you get a clean cut on each end. Well, anyway, we got to try to get within a window. You know, you probably got about maybe a ½ inch of adjustment on each side of this as far as left and right, where to go get it. It has this setup over here to kind of give you a cheat sheet. That's where you want to shoot for, the center of the rotor. We want to get into the center of that, and then there's a bunch of cones and spacers and everything to work with to try to get that to happen. So I'm going to go clean some stuff up. I'm going to go get that set up, get the rotor on it, and then we'll get her on there. We'll make a couple of passes. Yes, we will. That first one on there should already be good for the one race. We are coming in. We got to come up They've got to come up about a, I don't know, 1/4 inch, something like that, 1/2 inch compared to that. That's good enough. And with that. Probably a hair too tall. I think we're going to have to live with that. Then we need an upper. Want to make sure you don't, definitely want to make sure you don't have any metal shavings on it, because you're trying to not damage those races the bearings are riding on. Yeah, that's good. Then we need a spacer again. A couple of them. Probably don't need that one. And then it just has a collar that spins down on it and locks it all together. And then this whole assembly, like I said, again, will go in the back and we'll adjust accordingly. Yeah, let's get ready to rumble. We're gonna run it in about halfway. And I'm gonna just bring the 2 cutters in so they just start to touch. We'll get an idea how to round it is too. Sometimes you'll hear it go scrape nothing, scrape nothing. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I gotta make an adjustment. Hold on. They're already both all the way in on their stroke. I'm gonna back them off. And what I gotta do is loosen these up, get the cutters in a little further. Sometimes you have like a vented rotor, which is the fatter ones. That's what it's set up for now. I just got to crack them in. I'm gonna run it in. I'm gonna give them both just about that much. And I'm gonna turn on the power feed, which is this knob. And that'll just start drawing it right across, give us a cut. But we're gonna just keep on going until we get a smooth surface. Well, we can keep on going to try to get a smooth surface, or if we get too thin on the rotor itself. And the rotor, I think, it starts out at 12.7 and minimum is like 11.4 as far as the thickness. And a good way to kind of check that is just with a wrench. That's that size, like a 12mm wrench, 11mm wrench. You know, if you got 11 on there, it's getting too skinny kind of thing. You can see a little bit happening there. Generally, the first cut's pretty shallow, though. You're just kind of trying to get it. You're trying to find where the thickness and the thinness of it is, because you don't want to try to bite too much off at one time. It'll stall it right out on it. So the first cut is just trying to like educate yourself what you have for a rotor. But you can see already the difference that's happening in it. The other side's fine. We're just gonna cut on this side. I'll leave the other side adjuster right where it is. see the other side's pretty much all done. It should be okay making other passes on itself. It'll have a nice, I'm gonna call it corduroy finish to itself. You can see where that one's barely done anything yet. Right where you see that the little rusty spot, that's where it sat for a long period of time where the brake pads were touching on it, and it causes just a little bit more rust right in that one area. Yeah, we may have it on this pass. We might have to do one more. If that's what we're looking for, that kind of finish. Get rid of that, cut that glazing off. Let's go shut her down, see what it looks like. That side is fine. And that does not look bad. Maybe we'll take one more light pass on this side. Actually, let's just go bump it. See if it's got... Yeah, see where the color changes? Right there. That's again where it got rusty from the pad sitting on. I'm gonna give one more cut, because if not, when you go to hit the brakes, you're going to get a little bit of a pulse. Although the rotor's not pulsing, you know, a lot of times you get pulsing brakes. It's either the rotor's doing one of these or the width is changing on you. That material doesn't match all the way around. So you have so much drag here, and then you get either more or less drag where that rusty spot is. And it can give a little bit of a brake pulsing action to it. So I'm going to give one more cut on that side, and we'll call it. Yeah, we can't forget the other part. How many of you have done this before in your life? Packing bearings, cleaned out and rinsed out, and then you have a gap in the back side of it there. You just kind of feeding the grease in, and you want to see it almost kind of come out of the top side of it. Depends on the side of the bearing. You can always flip it over and feed it from the other side too, but you can see it all coming through the rollers and all. Re-scoop. That's it. I don't know if you can see it. You can actually see the grease starting to poke up through the edges there. We'll cheat. Feed in from the other side. They make a little bearing packers too. Kind of stick it in, it'll push it right through it. I think that's going to be. Good thing I wash my hands first, right? Don't want to contaminate it with any kind of dust or dirt. All right, that is that one. The rotor has finished doing its cutting over there. So I'm going to go take that. I'm going to go rinse the center of the hub out. And put a little bit of grease in there. We'll put the bearings back in it. Clean the spindle off. And see what we got. Good enough. Pop that out of there. And like I said, I got to rinse the center of it out, all the grease that's in there, because it's possible we could have these little grinds that are in. And now we already have the setup for next time. We already know how to. Got to get pliers. We already know how to back out. The alignment's already in place for everything. that what I'm trying to say? I think so. All the races look pretty good, and the bearing surfaces look decent. It's not any scoring or anything on them. I would replace them. Right, where's the functioning vehicle that it came out of? And where is our... Where's it hiding? You're hiding it on me. Was it like that? Or was it like that? Do you remember? I think it was like that, right? That's it. So we probably got to get rid of the jack. We got this backing plate. Goes on, I think something like that. That's why probably why that one bolt is loose. Is it this one? Yeah, that one's loose. Probably goes on from the back side though. A little more like it. Maybe. It's supposed to be tucked behind. I would think like that, right? Could always look at the other side. Just because I like giving it a little extra here and there. It's not going to hurt anything. And so this just gets running enough. There's a little bit of drag on that washer. A lot of times you use like a little screwdriver or something, you kind of poke at it, slide it back and forth. Kind of run it, back it off. And just so that washer can kind of move around a little bit. And also you could grab the rotor. You just want to feel maybe just a hair of play. Because as it does heat up, as you run it, it will expand a little bit and it'll get tight on the bearing. So you want just a little bit of play in it, or you know, wherever the cotter key lines up, you turn it to that one hole. Tweak it back and forth. I think we get our caliper just bolted on, and I'm going to repeat everything the same on the other side. We'll see what happens when we try putting brake fluid in it. As long as the dust cap doesn't hit any of it. I was putting it together, I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. Put my finger on it. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the other side. I'm like, I know what's missing. No shock on this side. That was also removed. So I got 2 new shocks. And it was missing a bracket for the bottom. I picked that up too. I'll take care of that. And that second rotor's no different. Definitely tell where the brake pads are sitting. Cleaned up pretty good though. Well, I don't know if there's going to be any fluid left in this. I think we tried opening this before. Yeah, we have to get like a... Let's try to get like a strap wrench or something on it. Might even be cracked going around the edge of it. We'll try this thing. Never used it. Like a little... The idea is not try not to bust the plastic, you know. I have one that's like a chain, but I think it's gonna tear stuff up. Let me see if I can get it. There it goes. All right. Tag teamed it, that's all. I'm gonna take a turkey baster. Very hard to get to that front one. And try to clean out whatever we can out of that. We're gonna purge all new fluid through it, but there's not much room to get into that one. That one we should be able to get though. I was able to get the back circuit cleaned out, but not the front. Just because of the way it's positioned. I didn't want to break the plastic. But we're gonna... Now was the idea that we have to fill... I guess we got to fill it right up to that lip and it overflows. That's kind of weird, huh? I don't think you're supposed to be able to pour it. Will it even out? You think it'd be like a little port somewhere where we can feed that front chamber. See how much dirt was in it. We'll have to. So the way it works, you would think that this would be the front brakes and this is the rear brakes. It's not. The larger capacity of it works the front brakes, and then the smaller one is the rear brakes. Front brakes do all the work, a lot of the work, I should say. All right, so maybe we'll just kind of like crack the bleeder open. We'll see if we get any kind of natural flow going through it, and if not, I have that little vacuum thing we'll put on, and we'll start drawing some of the fluid. So we'll get the front circuit working, and then we'll jump over to bleeding the back. Just see what happens. See if we can get like a gravity. Like when your pedal is all the way back, the fluid should be able to flow in through the master cylinder. And sometimes it works. Now all this should be full of air, so it may take a second. Or it may not work at all. And what I have like a little, I don't know if we showed it earlier, the little vacuum pump you put on it with a jar in between you and the vacuum pump so it doesn't get contaminated. Yeah, I think it's going to need some help. That's it. I'll go get it set up. And we're back. So we got a jar that's going to go on it. And essentially all it is just a vacuum pump. I'm going to draw, and it should, there it goes. See all the mud coming up, and it should collect in the cup. Now we want to keep on going until I get clear fluid. It could be so cruddy too that it doesn't want to go. It's looking pretty good in the line, huh? So I'm going to do this to both front wheels for the front circuit. Just got to be careful you don't go too much that you run the reservoir dry again. That's good. It pulls out all the contaminants too with it, and that's what kills it. What's it? Brake fluid hydroscopic? Is that what it's called? Where the fluid itself attracts moisture and it gets all contaminated. And that's the stuff like that really muddy stuff you see coming out of there. That's what kills the seal and causes rust on the inside the pistons when they all kind of lock up. Yeah, so we're just we'll dump that. And I'll top up the master cylinder. We'll go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll maybe try hitting the brake pedal. See if we have any kind of brake pedal starting yet. Then we can do the rear. I want to be able to put the tires back down on the ground and be done with the front, so we can move the jack to the back side. I could probably reach underneath it maybe to do the back. All right, let's go do the other side. And for the other side. You gotta figure that's all the crap that's sitting in the line too, you know? And also would deteriorate the flex lines. Yeah, it's really some mud coming out of there, huh? the little bit of air that you see trickling up there, that's okay. That's air leaking around the fitting. It's not like it's getting constant air. I'm gonna get another bite on it. Here we go. That's looking pretty good. Yeah. Let's go see if we've got a brake pedal. If anything wants to play, well. I'll give you a reach around there. And it's still going all the way to the floor. And now we're getting some. Making noises. That was something that just, there's probably a equalizer for the front and rear brakes. There might be like a crossover, which is like an equalizer, anti-lock for the rear brakes. I think that spool made a popping noise. All right, let's give her a good. Let's go see if both front calipers still spin. Yeah, see if they released. Yeah, that one is good. They'll make noise. It's not like they'll be silent. That little rough sound in you hear. All right, both of those are doing what they should. I'm going to go throw the front wheels on it, and we'll get the gas end up in the air. We'll start looking into the rear brakes. How did our, make sure we got any fluid leaking underneath? I don't think so. I don't think, because the pedal didn't feel like it was dropping down. Yeah, see that valve right there? That's what I was talking about. That one down there. That little spool in there probably went doink to one side because it had a front circuit but not a rear. Look at that. Who threw that in there? The foil from the cap dropped in. Alright, let me get it filled back up. And we got to do a bunch of purging on this because we got to get all the fluid out of the reservoir, through the lines, put fresh stuff in it, and do it again. So I may kind of do the rear so we run it so air comes back through, and then we'll backfill it. Let's crack this one open. See if we get anything. Should be getting something. Yeah, vacuum. Let's go. That's wide open. Should be getting something coming through there. We're gonna pop the bleeder right out of it. See if it's clogged. I know we should pull a wheel off. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Have a pretty good feeling of that. We'll pull the bleeders out of both sides. Let's go see if we can get the two screws out, see if the drum will come off. We'll take a peek. I figure everything is fairly new. Drum brakes don't usually have as many issues as disc, but let's go see. Yeah, I thought we were going to hammer on it. Shouldn't say anything, right? Second one's not out. It doesn't say that the drum's going to come off neither. What do you think? Yeah, it looks pretty good. About what I expected. So it has one wheel cylinder, which is that one. Just trying to see if the piston moves at all. I was able to twist it this way. Good. All right, let me go clean up those bleeders. I'm going to go pop the one out of the other side too and see if we can get something to blow through that. Probably try it with no bleeder at all. Just hitting the brake up front. Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere, not getting any fluid out of it whatsoever. I think that compensator spool that we heard click earlier, I think it's stuck blocking off the passage for the rear circuit. So let's go back up front and see if we can maybe get the plunger out of the end of it and kind of clean it up a little bit. I think it's just jammed one direction. Well, let's see if we get anything out of the master cylinder first. We have a clog somewhere, but let's go. So if I push on the brake pedal right now, we should get a little... Oh, honestly, we should pull that line off. It should be dribbling out too. Let's go see if it does anything. Yeah. So that seems like it's doing exactly what it should. Let me go push a little bit more mud out. Yeah, so it's either going to be, like we said, that little valve down below, or the possibility it could also be the flexible lines in the rear closed up. Maybe need a stent. Alright. So I don't know if I can get you down in there with me. Some of you are kind of big. Not shaming, just stating. Okay, so we need to get... So I would think, so it's the front line here, right? Yeah. It crosses over. All right, so it's the rear. So the spool is probably pushed backwards, blocking this path, is my guess. Whether we're going to get that out of there or not, because what's going to happen if we start screwing around, we're going to start breaking these lines and all. That's probably an emergency switch. I don't think that's brake light switch. I think that's probably just for like a warning on the dashboard that you lost the circuit. My guess is maybe if you lose the circuit, it trips this valve. I actually do think that's the way it works. What if we get the valve in the center of it out? Maybe we can push it back. I'm gonna work on that a little bit. If I find something cool, I'll bring you back and show you. Well, I think we got it. I popped that little plastic setup out of there and then hit the pedal up front. And then it started pushing fluid. Call me a liar now, right? It started pushing fluid to the rear here. It did work. Honest. I didn't do that. I did that by hitting the brake pedal. I wonder if that's I wonder if that spool is like fighting us. If does it go into like a, you would think it would be a neutral position. Yeah. Well, what I will do, I'll go back up front and hit the brake pedal and see if it keeps pushing fluid this away. Hey, one way or another it's gonna go. Working? Did it make a mess? It's like something's happening. Yeah, I think that valve. There it's going. Now we're drawing. We're drawing air. Well, I'm going to keep doing that. If that's the way it wants to work, fine. I'll keep doing that. And I'll put fresh fluid in the front until we draw. I was hoping to draw it down to nothing, you know what I mean? And do it to get rid of all that dirt. But however it wants to play, is how we'll play. Last corner. It seems to be working pretty good doing it. I'll just keep doing it. I'll empty it out. I'll just keep doing it until it gets clear, which is actually looking pretty good already. So I think we got it. Let's see what we get up with the four brake pedal. First part is going to take not bad. Probably 1.5 to 2 inches of movement. And we're probably 5 inches from the floor. About to be expected. I'm sure if we adjust the rear brakes too, after we run it a little bit, it might even get a little bit better. I think we may be done with brakes. Now we got to deal with fuel, the nasty fuel that's in it. some reason, it smells like when fruit goes bad. I don't know. It's like fermenting like oranges or something that I left in a bowl on the dining room table. We won't talk about that. Let's go drain some mud. Oh, it's coming out chunky. Oh boy. Those little black specks. Just trying to make it look like I might have to pull the gas tank. Yeah. Well, that's why there's no fluid to the front. I'm sure the fuel pump in the line probably has a clog in it. Let me hold it off the bottom a little bit. Yeah, so the fuel pump probably has a filter in it that is causing itself to clog. Try to go down below. Yeah, as soon as I start picking off the bottom a little bit, you can hear it like picking up gravel. I'll lift it up. Oh, you get the idea. I'm gonna go flush what I can out of it. Yeah, it's weird. It's got like a, I mean, you can tell it's bad fuel too, but it still has like this weird, like rotten oranges. I don't know, maybe somebody put like a fuel stabilizer in it that was based on that. I don't know. Gotta figure out whose neighbor's car we're gonna put this in tonight though. Well, you can see down in there, of course it wants to focus on the upper part, not down below, but there is nothing but rust all the way around. So it's not gonna be like one of those quickie drain and fill jobs that we can kind of move on. We gotta pull the gas tank and we gotta run it on the shaker. So it is not gonna be something I was so hoping that we could put the plates on it and take it for a spin, but I think we're gonna have to delay it one more. We got so close, you know, put a boat gas tank in or something, we could probably run it, but I kind of want to just get it finished. Because once it gets off the lift, that's about it. You kind of never get her back on there again. Plus, you know, maybe Brian wants to come over, we could detail the paint and kind of finish it up like a proper lady she is. But, I think on this one, guys, plus I lost a day this week, so that's as far as we're going to get, unfortunately. But I do want to thank y'all for hanging out, doing a little fun with me, having and trying to figure out the weird things that were going on, especially with that clutch. That was a kind of an odd one, wasn't it? But definitely get closer. A couple of things that people were talking about. One was the fact there's no oil to the top of the engine, or very little oil to the top of the engine. Apparently that's a common problem with these, and I guess you could pull a plug out of it and you could put like an oiler setup that goes and drips on top of the rockers, like a little, you know, maybe 1/8 inch copper tubing that drips on top of them, and or, you know, repairing and replacing everything that goes on top. So right now I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just trying to get it so we can get it up and driving, kind of run it through the gears and everything, feel what's going on. Plus I think we have others, you know, I started jumping ahead, I started thinking about the alignment. And if you could see, I think that tire's kicked in. The tie rods were loose on it, so I don't even think it ever got to the point of trying to go do that. And then you can see how far that tire is turned. It should be towed in a little bit, and it looks like it's actually towed out. Like that tire's going that way, and that tire's going that way. It's definitely gonna get a scrub going down the road. All right, guys. Well, you know, I hope to get more done each time, but it just seems to be the way it is. But for this, I think we're going to go call it. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. And, oh, we're so close. I got other things I want to jump on too, so I really want to get this done, but I'm just out of time. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to sign off. I thank y'all for hanging out, and we'll play again next week. Till then, I'll see you. Later.